Widespread rioting and protests continued in Israel today over the shooting of an unarmed Ethiopian teenager over the weekend. Now, this is raising new concerns about police racism against Israel's Ethiopian population. RT correspondent John Huddy has more on this story.
Rioting, protests, and violence on the streets of Tel Aviv and other Israeli cities after the police shooting death of 18-year-old Ethiopian Israeli teenager Solomon Takeh. Thousands of protesters have blocked major intersections and roadways, clashing with police while setting cars and trash dumpsters on fire throughout Israel in response to Takeh's death, in which an off-duty Israeli police officer opened fire in the Israeli city of Haifa on Sunday, the bullet hitting and killing Takeh. Israeli police spokesman Mickey Rosenfeld explains what happened.
There were a number of suspects that were involved in a fight in a local park. A police officer who was in plain clothes, he approached those individuals and requested to see their ID. What happened was the situation developed and they started throwing stones at him. He was hit and struck by stones and he felt that he was in a life-threatening situation. He responded by drawing his weapon, firing to the floor. And what we know is that the bullet struck the floor and then unfortunately struck one of the men, who was taken to hospital in serious condition and then later in the evening passed away.
Israel's police investigations unit arrested the officer who shot Takeh. The court released him to house arrest, and a judge has put a gag order on all details related to the investigation for at least 7 days. Takeh immigrated to Israel in 2013, and while family members and police officials say he's had previous run-ins with law enforcement, activists and protesters contend that Sunday's shooting was a disproportionate response to a minor situation that has since sparked intense backlash against Israel's police force amid claims of racial prejudice and discrimination against the country's Ethiopian population. A recent report shows that Ethiopian Israeli minors accounted for 5.4% of all minors arrested in Israel in 2018. That's 3.8% more than the national average of arrests of Israeli minors last year. There are around 140,000 Ethiopians living in Israel, and there have been complaints among those in that community about police harassment and racism since they started migrating to the country in the 1980s and 1990s. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu tweeted this video response to the protests late Tuesday, saying that, quote, everyone was mourning the tragic death of Solomon Takeh while urging for calm and for the crowds not to block intersections, adding, quote, I ask you, let's solve the problems together while adhering to the law. So far, more than 100 police officers have been injured and more than 130 people have been arrested during the last few days of violence throughout Israel. This as the family of Solomon Takeh is calling for calm. For RT, John Huddy.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.